Hello, my name is James Bullock, and this is my audio presentation for the second assessment for Comu1999. My series is probably most aptly named Seen and Unseen, Pretty Things and Not So Pretty Places, if I was to summarize the entire thing, which should be the subject of my story. It tries to identify beauty in places that aren't usually associated with sort of pretty or beautiful things, such as sort of the slightly seedier parts of town and associated areas. My intended viewing audience for this series would be probably people who wouldn't otherwise visit places like this because of perhaps their outward appearance, due to a sort of an intimidating sort of reputation that they usually hold down, such as, you know, the back areas of industrial suburbs and such. And also perhaps the people who wouldn't otherwise look too carefully at these places, just because they expect a sort of, and have a predisposition to believe that they are ugly places, which of course many of them are. And that would be my viewing audience. They'd need to know that perhaps there can lie a sort of inward beauty in these otherwise sort of run down, perhaps, and decrepit areas, and sort of gain assurance from the fact that there can exist a sort of beauty in these places, so you don't have to completely abandon hope for such beauty and such. The audience would need to feel, most likely, a sort of reassurance of an environment that can offer something aesthetically without meaning to. So perhaps these areas can again have an existing beauty within that wouldn't otherwise be seen. And to communicate this kind of visual language to the audience, I had to sort of reflect and review upon the use of light and viewpoint. So creating some sort of unusual viewing point that an audience member wouldn't otherwise have seen, in something perhaps like an alley, or sort of a water tower, a rundown water tower, which exists close to where I live. And so you have to gain a sort of altered perspective of these places, and also you'd have to use any available light that exists in the area. So often these places are quite cut off from a light source, so you have to make do with these sort of artificial and sort of bleached sort of artificial white or orange light that already exists because of street lamps and other forms of illumination. And to create, you need to sort of combine those two elements to provide a completely sort of altered perspective that holds these areas perhaps in a new light, making use of light. For instance, in one of the images, a train is passing just as the photo is taken, which casts a beam of orange from the speeding train onto a sort of silk-screened image that's being used for a billboard, and sort of making use of the rays of sunlight that can come in through an area of trees, and sort of just making use of any light that otherwise wouldn't be available to you. And hopefully, everything willing, that provides the audience a perspective of an inward-lying beauty in these rundown places that would otherwise seem ugly, which is the subject of my series. Okay, thank you. This is a